got a little tip for you that I did yesterday. My goal is to get 15,000 steps a day, at least 15,000 steps a day. So that's what keeps me at my goals, lean. I try to do 30-minute walks or something like that. Whatever I got to do to stay on my feet to try to get my 15,000 steps a day. I had to take one of my kids to a band thing that they had. And so it was at a pretty big high school. And so as they were doing their band tryouts, I was sitting there, me and probably, I would say 40 other parents, some 40, 50 other parents were all just kind of sitting around this big, not auditorium, but like a cafeteria. You know, looking at my phone, working on some videos and stuff like that. And I noticed I kept moving around. Man, it's just sitting here. And I looked around and every single parent except for one was reading a book. Pretty much every other parent, there were some on their laptops. And then every other parent was just staring at their phone. And I was like, I already went for a 30-minute walk in the morning, but I'm like, you know what? Why am I just sitting here? I feel real antsy in the chair. I'm gonna just get up and start walking. It's a pretty big school. I could just walk back and forth. And so I got up and I started walking. I was still on my phone. I could still, you can still walk and do things, especially if there's not many people in your way. So, but eventually I just put it on the podcast and I just walked back and forth. I ended up walking for almost 30 minutes. And then there were some stairs as well. So anytime I see a stairwell, I'd walk up and down and just nothing crazy, just moving. And so maybe think about that next time you're just sitting around, if you're able to get a good walk in, or, instead of just sitting there, especially if you're on your phone anyways, try to get up and just go walk. And that's what I did. I would just, like I said, it was a pretty big school, so I would just pace back and forth and I got some good steps in. And I was active and I wasn't sitting there. And like I said, whenever I was sitting there in that chair, I'm like, man, this chair is uncomfortable. And then I think it's when I looked around and I saw how every parent, because, there wasn't much else for us to do. We were all waiting. We didn't know what time our kids were going to be done. They didn't give us a time schedule. They just said, you can either wait or you can head out. But that's just a little tip that I had. Anytime you're sitting there, I try to do that. Anytime I'm just sitting around and I can get up and walk somewhere, then do that. Take advantage of it. Every step counts. So that'll really count towards whatever your goals are. And because hitting 15,000 steps a day is not easy. So unless you're on your feet all day long or you walk a lot or something like that. So my goal is to try to at least incorporate like a 30-minute walk, say 4 to 5 times a week. Especially if I'm not going to the gym or something like that, I make sure I at least get my walk in, at least a 30-minute walk. So I get up early. Let's say I listen to a podcast or just jam some music or something like that, but just go get my steps in. And that I do it early so that at nighttime when I check, I'm not at 10,000 steps or like, oh man, now I got to try to get another 5,000 steps to try to hit my goal each, at night. So those are just some tips that I had. Anytime you're sitting around and you're able to, there's enough room, and just get up and go walk. I don't need to sit there. And you never know. If somebody else sees you walking, they might be like, you know what, that's a great idea. Let me get up. I'm just sitting here as well. And let me go walk as well. And you can hopefully influence somebody else in a healthy way to stay on, maybe stay or even start on some goals. But that's just a tip that I have for today. Anytime I have tips or things that I do, I'll just share them with you and hopefully it helps. And I appreciate you watching. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.